So, good morning and good day, everybody. It's very sad we cannot meet personally in beautiful Budva. So I've been there 2 times and I know what we are missing here. I also have to apologize. It's not a lady talking anymore, but a man this time. So my name is Leupers from Aachen University in Germany. I'm the coordinator of the TETRAMAX Innovation Action. I would like to share a bit of best practices today. Yeah, so TETRAMAX at a glance. So on the right, you see our slogan, the one-stop shop for digitizing European SMEs. This is what we do in customized and low energy computing, and we have different means of getting this done. We provide help desk services, we provide technology test beds for SMEs, we provide technology brokerage, and we also provide funding for technology transfer experiments, as we call them. So this is what you also know from other projects that we are hearing about today. So our specialty is maybe in the fact that we are, first of all, focused on this particular area of customized and low energy computing. Plus, we can look back at the little history of this project, which I will come later to. So as a European project, TETRAMAX is an innovation action that has been running since 2017. And it will run until the end of this year. We got a slight COVID extension to wrap up everything properly. Total budget is 7 million euros, and we have 22 partners in the network, which cover all EU regions, but also cover many different technology expertise areas, which is equally important in my view. So what are our major activity lines? One core idea is to build what we call a technology brokerage network. That is a kind of hierarchical graph across Europe, as you can see here, where we, first of all, form a high bandwidth network of the so-called competence centers. So these are these little yellow bubbles, the CC things here in this graph, which are de facto the TETRAMAX consortium partners. And of course, every partner around in this little cloud has some local partners like digital innovation hubs or some SMEs. So we have a hierarchical network. And the idea is that this thing like a German Autobahn provides very high-speed technology, supply and demand dispatching from somewhere in the trenches of some European country to somewhere else, going the fast way across these competence centers. Likewise, it's also very important that we have key collaborations with the leading European networks like HighPeak, for instance. Second, and maybe most interesting for all our clients, is that we also fund and organize these technology transfer experiments, or TTX, as we call them. So total, there are 60 plus of them, many of which are completed already at this point. Many of them are still running. And we organized 3 different flavors of these TTX. One is called the Bilateral Ttx, that is based on the TETRACOM experience, which I will address in a second, which means that there's essentially a 2-partner mini project where there's a technology provider, typically a university or another research entity, that gives the technology to a receiver. That could be an SME somewhere else in Europe. And then they address a specialized market with the solution. And the funding is up to 50k euros, and the typical project duration would be up to 1 year. We also have a more complex way of organizing TTX, where up to 5 or 6 partners collaborate over a period of up to 1.5 years, and equipped also with larger funding. And the third line of experiments we are running is what we are call the Entrepreneurial Ttx, which is a kind of pre-startup initiative. So an exercise towards business prototyping. Maybe I should say that next to being a professor, I'm also an entrepreneur with different startups, so I have some idea of what it actually takes to bring it to this stage. And this TTX type is especially intended to encourage people from universities that have maybe some exciting technology, but might be a bit of afraid or hesitant to form a startup. Yeah, so this would enable a smoother step into actually generating a business out of a research project. So the duration is shorter because so much time of these calls, of these different flavors here. And you can believe me that in the first night of the open call, I was not sleeping very well, but fortunately the response was really exciting. Yeah, so in total, over all the calls, over all the years, we received close to 250 proposals from the entire European Union. And we, I think, yeah, if the acceptance rate is too low, like in the order of single-digit %, then you are discouraging proposals. On the other hand, if it's too high, you will not accept high-quality proposals. So I think 20% is more or less in the line of top-level scientific conferences. Yeah, so we can really make a good choice of the good proposals. So we were very happy about the statistics here. Yeah, so like all other projects, we have to share a few success stories, but I will not bore you with too many details here because we have quite many of them. I'm just putting here a few citations of some of our SME clients. So this is some feedback that we got from some random clients, I should say, which emphasize that the impact of the TTX that we were sponsoring from the TETRAMAX side was actually having a long-term impact, and it actually helped to provide new technologies to the market, like in the case of this Monter BV from the Netherlands. We also observed that we got very positive experience or feedback about our way of organizing the co-funding in terms of efficiency. So we have a very short time to respond to the proposals from the community. And here's one SME that says that TETRAMAX by far was the best experience in all these EU funding schemes because it's relatively easy to access. We have short and lean proposals. We don't love bureaucracy at all. We make 2-3 pages proposals and respond to that quickly because that's in the very interest of an SME. And again, as a co-founder of some SMEs, I know what it means to be waiting for an answer for a funding proposal for a long time. Yeah, it's really a bit disgusting once in a while. So we try to help that in providing short response times and efficiency. And we also enabled actually a few startups coming out of our entrepreneurial technology transfer experiments. But I will not bore you with all these success stories. I can share more data with you offline if you like. But for this presentation, I try to look a little bit back on what are the success factors for this. Why did this actually work relatively well? Well, the easy thing was that we had a proof of concept when we started TETRAMAX. I initiated a CSA in FP7 called TETRACOM. Some of you might know it. It was smaller scale. It was maybe the first project of its kind that focused on this, what we call technology transfer experiments right now. It actually influenced the Horizon 2020 third party or cascading funding scheme quite a bit, I think. At the very bottom, there was the idea that I looked at how do we do technology transfer from RWTH Aachen University to industry partners. And so what we provide is we give technology and services and we get back money and also manpower. And my goal as a coordinator was to scale this up to European level by putting TETRACOM in place, which provides co-funding and advice to encourage more technology transfers European-wide, also to universities which may not be so much used to that. Yeah, unfortunately, the result was also quite positive. So we were able to co-fund 50 TTX, and we actually created a proven impact on key indicators like how many new jobs were created, what was the increase in SME revenue, what was the improvement in product and process efficiency, and so forth. So I can show you data on this if you don't believe me, but that actually encouraged us to make TETRAMAX a reality. We also noticed that very high on the European Commission agenda, there is the impact measurement. As all the coordinators know, that's your day-to-day business. So we thought about how can we turn the impact measurement from, yeah, say a textual, verbose thing into something that is numerically measurable. And we came up with an exhaustive list of numerical measurable KPIs, like how many new jobs did you actually create in your experiment? What was the saving in things like power consumption or efficiency? Did you enable new products? Did you increase the revenue of your SMEs? And many, many other things. Yeah, so we have a whole list of maybe 30, 40 of these numerical KPIs, which we can actually measure by talking to our clients, and that leaves little room for discussion because it's mathematics. Yeah, so we don't provide large texts about impact, but we provide numbers that show that the project is effective. So yeah, as I said, I would like to show a few best practices to maybe inspire other projects that may learn from that. One thing that is important is that you provide an active technology brokerage. I also understand that many other projects are doing this right now. So we have a kind of online brokerage portal where companies and universities can offer technology requests and offerings. So online with a very short description, maybe a little picture. You can see this on our website. On top of that, it's important to notice that this is not fully automatic. So you cannot expect that everybody in the world will look at your website and try to harvest technologies or so. This is we don't get enough attention for this against all the other offerings which are there in Europe and worldwide. But we installed a dedicated chief technology broker that once in a while would look at the offerings and demands and try to match them manually by email, by phone, or whatever is needed. Another factor for success, I think, is that if you are really interested in igniting entrepreneurial spirit at universities, you need to provide a little bit of training. Because as an entrepreneur, you need to have a few basic skills, which, I mean, you don't need to study to get this done, but you need to have some insight on what it takes to get some financing. Is there anything around IP rights and so on? So we organized a couple of dedicated courses in a big setting, namely the High Peak Asake Summer School, where we organized a dedicated track over a couple of years that focuses on entrepreneurial needs. The next issue, I think, will take actually place in September, live, hopefully again, in the context of the High Peak Summer School. So here you can see some of our recent speakers, and I think they will be more or less the same also this year. So people that talk about entrepreneurship in general, financing issues, and IP and patenting issues. So all the little things that you don't want to care about normally as a university entrepreneur, but you have to do, and you have to learn it by doing somehow. Yeah, of course, also dissemination plays a big role. So we need to talk about all the good things that we are doing. So we try to do our best to have channels that reach as many as possible people out there. So it turns out that some of our press releases actually reached more than 300,000 recipients worldwide. And that's important so that you create some attention for your project, which is in turn important for the response to your open calls. Yeah, it is better to send a message to 100,000 people than just to 1,000 ones, because then you will get more high quality proposals in the end. Also, I think it is important in our case that we do not just focus too much on project internal things, which I also observe in other projects, but we want to highlight the success story of our clients. So how do we do that? Well, we feature their success stories in articles, newsletters, social media, and we also produce video clips. If you go to the TETRAMAX website, you will see around 10 one-minute teaser video clips, which we produced for the best of our TTX, that highlight for a broad audience in an easy language what this TTX actually achieved, how the partnership was formed, what was the outcome, what is the future. Another thing is that we give awards to our outstanding TTX. So we are giving per open call, so out of 11 that we published, one award to the best TTX in terms of our numerical KPIs. Yeah, and just by chance, tomorrow, sorry, there's the next award procedure taking place, so maybe you received the invitation, so we will honor another bunch of our winning TTX. So they get a certificate, they get some appreciation, they get some PR, and they also get some monetary award of 1,000 euros for the successful winners. Yeah, last not least, I'm a big fan of efficient management as a German. So we have a very powerful intranet tool that is actually homegrown, or actually collaborate or developed together with a partner in Ghent from the HighPeak network, which allows us to keep track very easily about action items, and in particular, what is our standing in terms of all these KPIs that we are doing. Yeah, so when I do steering committee meetings once per month in TETRAMAX, I just open this intranet tool and I can see all the action items and what is to be done, what has been done, and I can also do a real-time monitoring of all the KPIs. So here's one sample from that page. So one of our KPIs is how many investor pitches were done by our clients. Yeah, so then I can see what is our goal, a certain number, and then at each point of time I can see what is our current achievement, so I can see easily where we are doing better than expected, where we are doing worse than expected, and try to steer against this as a coordinator. Yeah, last not least, there's also the human factor. So I think it's important to have some view from the outside, and TETRAMAX has a pretty strong and diverse industry advisory board that we call together once per year. And this industry advisory board consists of people from big industries, from many different application domains, from automotive, from defense, from industry 4.0, over startup people, over innovation or accelerator people to VC people. Yeah, and I think it's very healthy once per year to present the stuff that you are doing to some people which are busy otherwise and successful otherwise, and get their feedback so you can make your project better. Okay, that was actually, I think, my last slide. So if you're interested in further details, of course, you can contact me, or I invite you to visit our website, tetramax.eu, where you can see all these things at a glance. So our brokerage network, our overall client network, all the TTX we were funding. We have a landing page for venture capitalists that would like to invest in our startups. You can review our team and many other things. Okay, that's it from Germany. Thank you.